It's showtime! Let's go! Let's go!
Yo, 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 what's going on, my Patriot peeps? It's me, your science guy, your full-time scientist, fuller-time sports fan, and I'm back with my guy Aiden as we talk about the newest era of Patriots football. How's it going, Aiden?
It's going so good. It was such a, even in that loss, it felt like a win. I don't know. It was a good weekend.
It's weird. You normally, like, when you think about losses with moral victories, you're like, oh, well, this felt like a moral victory. How much do you lose by? Oh, 20.
I know.
But of course, the offense was humming on a level that I haven't seen it, and you could feel it in the stands. Like, there was excitement, there was buzzing. The crowd was left wanting more at the end when they wanted them to finish because they were like, we finally see some offense. What was it like for you watching that game?
Oh, it was a lot of, I think, ups and downs. That first few drives and that pick was pretty discouraging. But man, after that, like right before halftime, that drive and that deep ball to Booty, and then it seems like after that, after the first half, May really started getting rolling. It was exciting, and I think it was the most encouragement I've felt in probably a number of years just as a Patriots fan.
Yeah,
There's hope. There's finally hope now of like, man, like maybe this kid is going to actually be something and start winning some games here.
Yeah, I think that was my immediate reaction of, there was a positive reaction of, okay, now some of these games on our schedule actually feel winnable with the humming offense. But then there's we absolutely would have won the Miami game. We would have won the Seattle game. I mean, you never know what would have happened with the other games. We could be looking at a completely different scenario, especially with how inconsistent the division has been. So in hindsight, it's a little frustrating that we didn't put him out sooner, but at the same time, I also felt like whatever we were doing with him in practices, like whatever development had been going on, whatever Jacoby had been teaching him, whatever he was watching and learning what not to do from Jacoby at times, but also what to do in terms of demeanor and toughness, all of that kind of showed up. The resilience from that initial interception. You know how Mac was last year. After he would throw an interception, he would just go into a shell and stop, forget how to play football. You could see that May learn from his mistakes. He got better as the game went on. That was the thing that was most encouraging for me.
Yeah, super encouraging. And I mean, like, all the players love him. Like, a lot of the interviews with the players afterwards of like, Bourne was saying he's got aura, like crazy aura. Pop Douglas was saying like he'd run through a brick wall for him. Like, the guys are like, they're fully behind him too, which is like that was never with Mac. Like, nobody liked him.
And that's an important thing. Even like at its best, like, people were maybe defending Mac. They were defending him and they were kind of protecting him, but nobody was saying kind of like, oh, Mac is our guy. Mac is, you didn't see that enthusiasm of, there's a certain intangible quality that franchise quarterbacks carry.
Right.
And it does feel like May has that. When he talks, when he walks, just his demeanor. I'm very much I look for expressions. And so the way I saw Mac after interceptions, and like, I wanted to see what was Drake's expression like after his interception. Obviously he was disappointed in the moment, but you could see that he was collected and trying to figure out what to do to avoid throwing more. And really, he only had one legitimate one. Obviously the tip ball was unfortunate, but I mean, like, incredible game overall from him. More touchdowns than Brissett has had all season. Almost as many yards as Brissett had in his first 2 games combined.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different looking offense.
It's fun. It was actually fun watching the offense work. You know, like first few weeks, it's like, oh great, like here comes the Jacoby Brissett led offense. Will he score a touchdown? And then now you're like, okay, we got some juice. We had some big plays. We got some guys who are, I don't know, just performing well. Pop Douglas looked awesome out there. Like it was actually exciting to watch. Like I didn't feel like I had to watch the game. I was actually like super excited to see like what was going to happen each drive.
Yeah, fully agreed.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's good to be able to have watchability is an underrated thing in terms of like drumming up excitement in the franchise. We're at a point where we need our fans to buy back in because it's just been difficult. It's
Right.
This is second straight season now that we're starting 1-5. I think it is beyond imperative. This Jaguars game, it may not carry a lot of weight in the playoff race, but it is important that we win this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's an extremely winnable game, and this time it feels winnable. Like the Miami game felt winnable because Miami is really bad. This game feels winnable because I actually think that we can up our level.
And Jacksonville is bad too.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Both are true. Unfortunately, Trevor Lawrence hasn't been quite bad enough to create the Mac Jones revenge game scenario that I was hoping for.
I was hoping for it too. I saw someone saying that Mac Jones was starting, and I had to make sure it was. I did a fact check, and it wasn't real, but would have been fun.
It would have been fun because we know exactly how that would have gone.
I know.
Yeah, looking back at the game as a whole, like let's disconnect from May a little bit and just talk about let's talk about what went well. Let's talk about what didn't.
Okay, so yeah, good. Like we talked about it, obviously Drake May looked really good. And then Pop Douglas also looked really good. I think those two are going to be. I think Douglas, while he's not on the field as much as some of the other receivers, I think he's still like the top guy. They seem to obviously had a connection, and I think he had like 9 targets or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that was good. That was what a lot of people are watching for. That game was Drake May. Bad for the first time was like the defense. Like I'd say the defense. Like 41 points is a lot, especially with like the amount of talent that we have on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the run game. Mixon ran all over us. And then meh. I don't know. I think the O-line played okay. I don't think they played great. I don't think they played horrible. And then maybe it's because May just made them look better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a handful of meh and bad to talk about, but I think those are for sure. They're probably the ones that stick out the most.
Yeah, I think on the topic of the defense, we are definitely missing some of those guys on the interior O-line. It's also becoming obvious that while we have a shutdown corner in Gonzalez, like obviously he does have his, he is still young. He still needs game experience. It's going to take time.
Mm-hmm.
And we struggle against teams that go 2-3 deep on wide receiver because I don't think we have the same kind of cornerback depth that we used to.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Jones is still figuring his way around the position, although I thought he did a really good job. I'm glad he was able to get a pick, and beyond just the pick, he did seem more involved in the defense, and he was one of my wild cards of if he plays well this season, I can feel better about our cornerback depth, and he is starting to up his level. We also we're seeing the effects of our safety depth. The Peppers situation is not coming at a good time. We kind of cut Adrian Phillips because of how well Peppers played last year.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're not going to play Peppers for an extended amount of time, I said this offline, Adrian Phillips is a free agent who played really, really, really good football for us in the past. There is no reason in my mind why he should not be a Patriot right now with the Pepper situation going on as it is. Marte Mapu isn't quite there yet. I think he made some steps. He got more involved. He got
Are they
hosed
playing him
on
as
that left
safety
hand
or
carousel.
linebacker? Or is he going to just go everywhere?
He's both. So
Okay.
I think because of the Pepper situation, we saw him more in coverage.
Sure.
I think with Peppers in the lineup, he's been playing more of a linebacker role. But
Okay.
I think with safety depth issues, I do want to see how he does that safety. But I also would not mind seeing someone a little bit more proven on the team, especially when he's just out there for the taking. Duggar's been good. So the talent is still very much there on the defense. I think it was just a bit of a lethargic game. There's a certain fatigue that defenses get when their offense just keeps handing off the ball, and I think the defense probably got dejected early, because the offense was not humming early in the game. The defense was on the field a lot. I mean, Bryce Behringer did punt 6 times, and we had 4 turnovers. So as well as the offense played, there were 10 bad series. So in that sense, obviously the defense was spending a lot of time on the field, and so I get it. But what you can't have is those big plays, the 54-yard rush by Dameon Pierce, so many big runs by Joe Mixon. And in the past, we've been able to kind of limit running backs. This is the first time a running back has really gone off against us. So it's a little discouraging to feel that. I for one game, I can chalk it up to just an off day. Unfortunate that the off day came on the offense's on day, but it's also, we're calling 4 turnovers and 6 punts in on day. Like, there's still work to be done on the offensive end of things. So I'm gonna also say offensive line is my meh, mostly because it feels like this is as good as we can be with the players we have. I'm not going to fault the players for being put in this situation for a makeshift, like, put together group of practice squad guys, and then Mike Onwenu standing there as the only good offensive lineman on the team. Players that I've never heard of, like, in good positions on the depth chart. Ben Brown playing on his 4th day on the team, not really having much in terms of NFL experience, being our center. I mean, he was way better than Nick Leverett, who has more NFL experience. And so these guys did as well as they could for the abilities that they have.
Right.
We just need to be better. We just need better players. Believe it or not, Cole Strange, when he comes back, might be our 2nd best offensive lineman.
That's so gross.
It's gross, but we need him. He has 2 seasons. He has NFL experience under his belt. His inconsistency is the most consistency we have. And then on the bad end of things, I'm going to say Jalen Polk. What is he doing? We were giving him flowers for his almost catches, but at some point, 2 circus almost catches isn't going to make up for drops.
It's really sad because he's kind of giving me. They're not even near the same player, and I don't think he's going to be this bad. I actually think he should be able to turn around, but he's giving me big N'Keal Harry vibes, where it's like just not doing anything other than making the crazy circus catches down the field that also don't really even count. So it's like,
well, N'Keal Harry didn't do that either. So
I thought there were a couple he's had. I know that's what he was like known for, but
there was the big catch against Kansas City that should have counted and would have gotten us the 2 seed in Brady's last year.
I think that's what it was, and then like that basically just flipped over his whole career after that.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I was saying is just like a guy who was just like known for just having like just crazy hands, and then Polk had 2 really bad drops that were right there,
Yeah.
and
And
they were
on
both
the season,
first downs too.
and like yeah, this was a particularly bad stretch of couple. Like you look at the isolated one almost catch, and you forget the fact that in the Miami game he had 1 reception and 6 targets.
Yeah.
And yesterday, or not yesterday, on Sunday he had 1 reception and 4 targets. 10 receptions off 23 targets, just the 1 touchdown. This is not enough. It simply isn't.
Again, he's still a rookie, so I'm not losing hope on him at all, but he's definitely got to get on the same page as May. Like we need him.
And on the bad end of things, I'm also going to say whoever is deciding which receivers to put on the field, like you got a new quarterback coming in that has the ability to throw downfield, and you don't put one of the fastest receivers in football on the team. If you want to see how good Tyquan Thornton actually is, this is the game where you can find out.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense why we're not trying that. You see Kayshon Boutte making great plays on the field. You have to wonder how that could look with guys that have even more speed.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I'm gonna obviously say May. I'm gonna mirror you with Douglas. Like, great to have that first touchdown monkey off his back. I know that also took Bourne forever when he was first a Patriot, but this is actually Drake's first NFL touchdown. DeMario's first NFL touchdown. So it's a big moment in a young player's career. Something that can hopefully be a launch pad. It's proof of concept now that he's a guy that we can rely on to get in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Love that Drake's 3 touchdowns came to 3 different receivers. It's the kind of stuff you saw from a different guy that used to play the quarterback position here. Like, very much distributing the ball among his weapons. And like people talk about how Brady had Brady made like mediocre receivers look good. Like, what Drake's dealing with right now is orders of magnitude worse than the nobody receivers that Brady had. I would kill for Malcolm Mitchell and Chris Hogan right now.
Julian Edelman just catching everything over the middle. Oh
God. And like that, when I think of like scrawny little guy that can catch the ball like crazy, I do think of Julian Edelman. When I look at Pop Douglas, like that's the player he should emulate. I'm not saying that's who he is, but that's who he can model himself off of. A Julian Edelman, a Wes Welker, the not crazy tall, not doesn't have the size, but you can just scurry around anywhere and has great route sense.
There's no reason he can't be the next Edelman. I mean, I feel like we've been doing that for years. Just like, oh, here's our 6th, 7th round pick, undrafted guy who's just good for whatever reason.
Yeah, and we have 2 of them. I mean, I would say DeMario is the one whose style matches Edelman more, but Boutte can definitely become a factor on this team. I mean, I think at this point, I think he's a starting receiver, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. That means that we don't have much, but with what we have right now, he's a starting receiver. I would trust him out there over Polk any day of the week. Until Polk figures it out.
Right.
And you look at the skill position group, and it's not so bad. You've got a decent running back tandem in Mondre and Gibson, although Gibson was terrible on Sunday. I mean, he did get involved in the pass catching game, so he has his role. He's showed that he's not a feature back kind of player. We already knew that. But he is your third down back, James White kind of guy. remember, James White didn't have amazing rushing stats. It was his versatility and his consistency that made him what he was for us. So I don't think James White type is so out of the question for Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot to work with. It's the offensive line that's kind of bringing it all down, and it's not even the performance. It's the players are just not good enough. They're trying. At first I was saying things like, "Oh, these players just are not giving it any effort." They're doing everything they can for the limited skill sets that they have. You can't expect a practice squad player to go there and do what Vollmer and Solder and Matt Light and those types of players were doing for us.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to you about this earlier. And I'm going to continue to be angry about this. That we had Tooney, we had Karras, we had Mason, and we let them all go. And now, because of that, we're at a point where we're desperately awaiting the return of Cole Strange.
It's that's a dark, depressing hole to be in the offensive line room, I guess. Just to Cole Strange to be our saving grace is not a good thing.
Yeah. So speaking of skill positions, things happened within the division.
They did.
For me, distressing news that Devontae Adams is now a New York Jet. For two reasons. One, he's on my fantasy team, and I think the Jets are in disarray right now. But two, I mean, the Jets just keep on showing that they can be aggressive and showing the initiative to get top tier players on their team.
Mm-hmm.
And you reunite Aaron Rodgers with a guy that he's very, very, very comfortable with. I don't know exactly how this is going to go, but this is the kind of thing that could potentially elevate the Jets if everything around them is going well. So not what you want to see a division rival do, but a good model for what we should be doing. That could be us.
Mm-hmm. We have the cap space. Like, why can't? Well, I guess we'd have to obviously trade some assets away, but why can't we trade a couple picks and get T. Higgins and then sign him to an extension before free agency or something like that? Like, we should be able to make some moves this offseason if we really want to, or even I guess this regular season.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to see something done at the trade deadline. Is if we start, like, if we win against Jacksonville, and then we win, who's after that?
I know Tennessee is Tennessee right after.
It's Jaguars, Jets, Titans, Bears. All four are winnable if Drake May plays at a high, like if Drake May shows what he showed, and then the defense improves even a little bit, or just plays like they have been everywhere else in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there, you could conceivably go 2-2 or 3-1 in those games. I'm not going to say 4-0 because I still think this team just has too much else to iron out. But at that point, if you win 2 of the next 3 games or something, you got to start talking about, hey, what if this team could be good? What if we want to start winning now?
Mm-hmm. Why not?
He's inconsistent enough that it's possible that 8 and 9 could be good enough to get to the playoffs.
That's wild. But I think it's true. It's like, I don't think this division's as open as it's been in a long time, just with the injury to Tua and like the Jets underperforming and like the Bills like not being the powerhouse that everyone thinks they are. Like, and then I think we're a wild card now. It's like we looked really bad and like we still lost by a lot, but we got some spunkiness, I think, and some still like fight in us just with May now playing.
Yeah, you look at like obviously the Chiefs. You've got the Chiefs, Ravens, Steelers, Texans, who are all in like good positions. Other than that, it's Bengals, Browns, who don't look very good. Titans, Jaguars, who look terrible. The Colts, who are 3-3, and I mean, it's not too early for us to overtake them.
Mm-hmm.
You should be thinking about the possibility of the 7th spot, and this is partially because I think the team got a lot better, and partially also because we've had enough losing seasons where going for the tank again is just not what the franchise needs morale-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Try to win as many games as possible and see whatever. Like, I think a season in which we win 7 games, barely miss out on the playoffs, and have a good bit of momentum is better than a season where we win 3 and are just limping into another draft.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's what the Packers did, right? Like last year, I know a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, they're going to be just a train wreck," and then they make it to the playoffs, and it's like, look at them now. Like they're starting to build off of what they created. I'm sure they were just like beyond hyped, just being the underdogs, doing way better than everyone projected. And it's like you don't have to give up just because everyone else is saying to. Like, why not? Yeah, why not? Like you said, try and carve out at least some wins and just build up the team and then make bigger additions on players if you want to and need to.
Yeah. If we could win 7 straight in Mac Jones's first year, I'm not saying we're going to win 7 straight, but this team, there are bright spots. The defense in a normal week plays on a much higher level than this.
Mm-hmm.
You've got very good special teams throughout, like your gunners, your kicker, your punter. That's all good. Joe Cardano, great. And then you've got an offense that has decent skill positions, a good quarterback, and then an offensive line that cannot get worse. Well, I can't say that.
Yeah, barely. It might be able to barely get worse.
There's not much room for like, yeah, there's not much room to get worse. And so, like, yes, hope, like, waiting for the returns of Vidarian Lowe, Michael Jordan, and Cole Strange may seem bleak, but they will improve the team. And who knows? I mean, Ben Brown had as good of a first start as you could expect from a practice squad level center.
Mm-hmm.
Way better than anything that Nick Leverett was able to give us. And so with more time to work with some of these like patchwork players, you can improve there. This is at its best, everything functioning smoothly. May continues to improve and learn from his mistakes. Obviously needs to cut down on the turnovers. Like, maybe there's hope.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'm locked and loaded with these.
I know. It's Mayday.
It's Mayday. I like it.
No, I think there definitely is hope. I think just the offense was just like we were saying earlier, just humming way different than when Brissett was there. Like, yeah, he hooked up on that deep shot, but the fact that he wanted to throw the ball deep is like he wants to win. He wants to take chances. Like he's playing to win. He hates losing, he said, and he's not like a conservative guy. So it's like he wants to put the ball in the end zone. So I think there definitely is hope. Like even if it comes with more turnovers, it's like there's going to be a lot more scoring with that as well.
Yeah, I do hope that Alex Van Pelt was watching this game and taking note of exactly what you were saying. That Drake May does have this desire and this aggression to go down the field.
Mm-hmm.
How can we make use of that? Because
mm-hmm.
I think other than a few plays here and there, I still think Alex Van Pelt was calling a very conservative game.
Oh, definitely.
And he kind of started to open up as he saw what Drake could do. So I'm hoping that there can be more of that and that kind of adjustment.
I think, I mean, it would also be awesome if he even just incorporated just some more read option or like RPOs or something, and just use May's athleticism just to kind of open up the game plan a little bit too. Like,
yeah,
you saw like he had like almost 40 rushing yards, and like it was good to see him not just try and run anytime he got scared, and like because like he kept looking downfield. But I mean, when he ran, like he looked fast and like did a good job. So it's like,
yeah. And when Mondre's back, I mean, I'd be interested in seeing what a collegiate style like zone read would look like with the Patriots offense. You can get really creative when you have a mobile quarterback that actually has an arm. With all due respect to Cam Newton, we had a mobile quarterback in 2020, but he couldn't throw the ball. Like every time he would throw beyond 20 yards, it was like a random number generator of where it would go.
Yeah,
that's not very useful.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you? So we talked about a lot of the good things we've seen from May. What do you want to see improve? Obviously, it wasn't a perfect debut.
I do think I just want he can still be erratic, like just kind of just take care of the football. Like that first throw, like yeah, it was good to see it, but he sailed that ball. Like I think he just needs to calm down and just kind of just relax a little bit.
Yeah.
And just
absolutely.
I don't know. That's all I can really ask for. I don't think there's really other than that. I thought he looked great. Like maybe that's the homer in me, but I really did think he looks like there's a lot to be excited about. But just the fumble and the 2 picks, like one of them wasn't really his fault, but just I don't know. Like you don't have to try.
The more I think of this, how many starts did it take for Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels to get their first NFL touchdowns?
I saw that. I think it took him a couple weeks. And I mean, Caleb's first game came against the Texans. He didn't even throw for 100 yards or a touchdown.
He was terrible. I think he had 2. I think he also had 2 picks.
Yeah, what I saw, I remember seeing Drake May actually. Yeah, he has the most passing yards against the Texans this season, and it was in his first NFL start.
And this is despite the fact that Caleb Williams has like really, really good receivers to throw to.
Yep.
I mean, you've got Allen, you've got and Robodunze has been playing great football, like really outstanding stuff, which is a little bit frustrating because Dunze was opposite of Polk.
Yeah,
like, they were like a 1-2 punch, and the other side of that 1-2 punch is not doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
But
let's see if I can find the tweet.
Yeah, I would say ball security as well. I mean, I'm absolutely gonna give it a pass for game 1, the 3 turnovers, but I don't want to see it again. Even like a tipped ball interception is unfortunate, but ideally you just don't want to put your ball in a position where it gets tipped anyway. It's hard though. We don't have the receivers to get crazy separation, but obviously the first interception was very much a rookie mistake. With the excitement of being able to scramble and stuff, there's also has to be the ability of when to go down and recognize pressure coming to you. The strip sack was a Mac Jones specialty. Let's not make it a Drake May specialty as well. But I mean, this was orders of magnitude better than any of the other rookie quarterbacks did in their first start, and I would argue that he had the worst line, probably the worst roster of any of them. But the kind of progression that we've seen with Bo Nix, the progression that we've seen from Jaden Daniels, the progression that we've seen from Caleb Williams is just proof of concept that these people can get better over time. There's a reason that you don't see a lot of rookies make Super Bowls immediately. It takes time, but it's been a pretty quick learning curve for some of them. I don't see why Drake May can't have the same kind of fate.
No, I mean he was. I'm sure there were GMs out there who had him graded higher than Jaden, and I'm sure some potentially even liked him more than Caleb. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously, I don't know like any of the GMs, but there has to be at least one. You'd think like he's in at least close to the same class as the other 2 guys. It's not like it was like Jaden and Caleb and Bo Nix, and then Drake May is just this developmental prospect who just needs a couple years before he can kind of play okay football. It's like no, like he needed time. All these other guys needed time. He may just needed more, but like there's no reason why he can't be a franchise quarterback as well.
Absolutely. And, obviously it's not easy to start against a team as strong as Houston. That's why I kind of wanted him to have his first start against Miami. It would have been a sure win the way he played, even if he played anywhere resemblant of that, of how he played yesterday. They would have won that game by 20.
But I think I'm even more impressed with his first start that it was against such like a good defense. Like he rose to the occasion. Like that's such a hard first game. I don't know. They're like really good.
Yeah, you got Will. Like you look and try to read the defense, and then there's menacing Will Anderson there, ready to pounce on you.
And Petrie and Stingley and like there's a lot of good players on that defensive side of the ball. Like,
and I talked about with Brissett like the resilience after getting hit. It seems like Drake May has picked that up nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one reason though I'm glad he sat by Brissett. He got to see the toughness, some of the intangible things. Like Brissett's a good guy, a good mind, just attached to a bad arm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he's on the team, but I'm glad I'm glad we have him as a backup. I think he's going to be a great person for Drake to consult with, and not the kind of guy who's going to be jealous. I heard Drake shout out Brissett a lot to how he helped him prepare for the game. It's what you want to see. But yeah, the sky's the limit right now for May. It can get so much better because we saw a lot of flaws and yet 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So now the Patriots get on a plane and fly to the land of their Revolutionary War opponents, England. What do we think about this game? I mean, where can, if anywhere, the Jaguars hurt us?
I don't know. Maybe the run game. I don't know. I feel like Bigsby's been running well lately. ETN's just kind of a bummer. And I guess the emergence or whatever of Brian Thomas is also, I guess, worth considering. Like he's big and he's incredibly fast. I think he ran like in the 4.3s in the combine. So I mean, he's a big guy who can for sure book it. Yeah. So I think maybe just the big plays. I don't think I'm not sure they have the discipline or even just like the confidence right now to like just play a full like put together game for 60 minutes just with kind of everything that's been going on. But I'd say just probably I think we have to limit them to not so many big plays like we did this last week.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, other than that, I don't really know what I could say. Oh yeah, like we're gonna have our hands full with this. Like I can't really see it.
Yeah, I worry a little bit about Evan Ingram, just because of how well Tyler Conklin did against us.
Mm-hmm.
In theory, the Jaguars have a really good first 4 weapons, like Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas Jr., Gabe Davis, Evan Ingram. That's a solid top 4.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect a lot more than what we've been getting actually from those 4. And so it's, there are clearly issues with their offensive line. There are clearly issues with just Trevor Lawrence in general and his confidence level. But they do, like you said, they have the ability to rattle off some big plays. And so it's never fun. I think they've got some good defenders. Devin Lloyd always worries me. I think he's getting better and better. They do have Trayvon Walker, who's having actually a fantastic season. He's looking very much the part of the number 1 pick he was drafted as. 5 sacks and a forced fumble. already. So whenever you have that against our offensive line, that's never fun.
Mm-hmm.
You've got better Josh Allen. and better because he hurts us less. But I mean, very, very good defensive players. So like their edges worry me with our tackle issues. I think Onwenu will hold his own on the right side, but
yeah, I did forget about all the guys. I forgot about like Oluwakan and yeah, they do have a good group of linebackers.
And it's, when I look at this depth chart, you wonder why they're not better. Like when you look at the Patriots depth chart, you know exactly why they're not a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have bad players
Mm-hmm.
throughout the roster, and like there are some obvious holes. When you look at the Jaguars, it's like, well, allegedly generational quarterback, 3 great receivers, a great tight end, like lots of playmakers on the defense. Why are they not good?
And a top 5 rusher from last year or whatever.
Right. Like the Jaguars should be good, and they're not. So if all of these good players figure out how to play football again, then yeah, they could be really good.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not. Their secondary has been very vulnerable as of late. Their quarterback play is not good. I think that's, I think we should and can try to really get some pressure on Trevor Lawrence. Like make more use of Keon White, get Dietrich Wise in there.
Mm-hmm.
Have Godshaw more involved in the passing game. Uche, like we've got guys who can sack the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Trevor Lawrence has been kind of crumbling under pressure these days. So force him to make some bad decisions. Let Gonzo, force him to make a throw that Gonzo can go get.
Mm-hmm.
How does this one end up?
I think we win this one. I think we can do it, especially if Mayan. I think 27-20 is maybe that's a little bold, but I mean we did just put up 21 against the Texans, so I think we can for sure put up 27 against them. And I think Ramondre will get a rushing touchdown, and I think May will get a passing and a rushing touchdown, and then a couple field goals.
Well, the way that May was playing, I do feel like we are the best 1-5 team in football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are only 3 of them. Us, or no, 4 of them. But like us, Carolina, the Browns, Jaguars. Mm-hmm. I think the way we looked on Sunday, I do feel like we're the best 1-5 team in football. So, yay. Yay for that.
Yeah, hooray for us, huh?
But kind of stunning. The Jaguars are favored by 6 points.
That's a lot. That's
like I would put good money on New England in this one. Like how can you make that kind of line the way the Jaguars are playing and from what you saw from Drake May?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and it's not like the Jaguars have been playing all that well either. Like
they're 1-5. They have the same record we do.
Yeah, for them to be 6-point favorites is wild.
Do they think the fact that they've gotten used to the jet lag in London is so important that they're willing to make that worth 6 points? Because I don't think it's that important. I think they can get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea. That's wild to me. I didn't realize they were that heavily favored.
It's one of the worst lines that the Patriots have faced all season. And I'm like, really, against the Jaguars?
Yeah, because I think they were 6.5-point underdogs week 1, right?
Yeah. Against a Bengals team who people thought were good.
Yeah. But then here we are against a Jaguars team everyone knows is bad, and we're expect to lose by that much.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so good, good betting play there, I would say,
Mhm.
taking the Patriots -6.
Right.
Honestly, like, and I wonder if the Patriots are -6, what, their money line must be great. It's plus 205. That's pretty good. Bet 100, get 300. Yeah.
You gonna lay some bets this weekend on them?
I can't. I'm in Georgia, but I might ask.
Oh.
I might ask some people in Boston to proxy lay bets for me. But I think it's gonna be interesting. So now we're over a third of the way into the season. Kind of now that we've seen some more rookies do their thing. We have more, and we've actually seen May. Let's get some letter grades. Let's go one by one through the draft and talk about what we've seen so far. So we're gonna start with the obvious, Drake May. What's our letter grade for Drake May so far?
I think I'd give him like a solid B just with that first game. I mean, he looked, like I said, phenomenal like when he made big plays, but there was a couple of like just trying him to do a little too much, being a little careless with the ball, a little too Josh Allen-y at times, which can be a good thing, but also could be a really bad thing.
For calling his, you're gonna say, oh yeah, he had some Josh Allen-y plays, not so good.
But Favre to him, it's like the bad side of him. I'd say like, a B plus.
There was some Brady-esque plays. Not
Yes.
good. Not good. Gotta get that out.
Some head scratching rookie Peyton Manning plays.
But early Josh Allen, like pre-Brian Daboll Josh Allen,
just like trusting his arm, just trying to make things happen too much instead of just like relax, like take what's there, take what the defense gives you.
And there was a little bit of that at North Carolina. I think he's going to have to get used to the fact that he's not going to have receivers with 15 yards of separation because he's playing real teams now.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I thought he adjusted pretty well, like for his first game. No, I have no qualms about like for your debut. That's as much as can reasonably be expected from May. And he was a lot better than the limited action we saw against the Jets too, because I guess that was the only play we saw. Even in that game, he had some early nerves. I think, he's got to shake off the early nerves. The Patriots need to start better in general. Like, we're not a team, even with May, that's meant to come from behind. It would be nice to start getting some leads. Okay, Jalen Polk.
I don't know. Can I just say like a solid like C? I think like his first few weeks, like he was getting open. He just wasn't getting the ball. And I mean, he did make some crazy catches that weren't technically in bounds, but I kind of think they were. I mean, like at least that first one, I think that was against. Oh man, which one was that? Where he was double teamed and caught it right on the sideline?
San Fran.
Yeah, like that looked like a catch to me. But I mean, just his last game, like he had some too easy like completions. One was like a hitch route that just like went right through his hands. Like he's got to make those, especially because like I remember hearing a lot of analysts saying like he had the strongest hands in the class and like that it was a safe pick. Like he's not doing what his strengths are. Like he's supposed to be that guy that just catches everything, and he's not.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was getting open from what I remember. So I mean, there is that, but he's got to be able to catch the ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like a potential D execution. Like I have not given up on him.
No.
But at the same time, 10 catches, let's say 12 if both of those were in off 23 targets, it's just not enough.
And, like, I think it's fair to remember, like, a lot of some players come out of the gates just full steam ahead. Like Malik Neighbors this year is just like, all right, he's going to be unbelievable. But then you got like Devonte Adams, I know, who struggled a lot in his early career with just drops. Like each guy just develops a little differently. So I don't know. I don't think I think I'm with you where it's like this is really disappointing, but I haven't given up really hope yet. I'm like, I think it's just fair to be like, he's a rookie. It's like new quarterback, new system. Like there's a lot to learn.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. How about Caden Wallace?
I don't know. I think I'll probably even mix like him and with Layden Robinson. Just like they're just in that weird rotation. Are they both hurt?
Layden is questionable. Caden Wallace is on an injured reserve.
Okay, yeah. So it's like again, like we haven't seen much. Like the whole O line as a whole has been pretty bad. I mean, from what I remember, there was some bright spots that they both have brought, but I mean,
I think I'm gonna give Caden Wallace a C and Layden Robinson a B minus.
mm-hmm.
Layden Robinson showed some promise, and
Sure.
There have been times where he's punched above his weight as a 4th round pick. I mean, he's played as well as anything I've seen from Cole Strange,
Mm-hmm.
which is not the highest of standards, but Cole Strange was a 1st round pick somehow. Sure, we were in position where if we hadn't traded down, we could have gotten Devin Lloyd. But, I don't think about that ever.
No, yeah, never. Who would? Why? It's in the past, right?
Oh, also, there's something that we need to do. Speaking of draft picks, there's a man that deserves some recognition for his role in May's performance. All hail Tank Commander Chad Ryland.
That beautiful soul. He's no longer with us, with the team, but I mean, because of him, we get our beautiful, sweet Mayflower.
Thank you, Chad Ryland. Thank you for not knowing how to kick a football.
Thank you.
And thank you, Bill Belichick, for thinking that he could kick a football.
Thank you, Bill Belichick, for wasting a 4th round draft pick on a kicker who thought he knew how to kick a football.
Yep, we wouldn't have had Nate without you. Hashtag until we trust. The intro still remains correct.
And I don't think about that draft pick often either. So
no,
ever.
There's so many draft picks. I think about like since 2021. I think there was a fundamental change in strategy that we needed to make once Brady left, because I firmly, as much as you can make, it's not just that Brady leaving made the team worse. It's that we had started to adjust everything we did around the fact that we had Brady and the brand of football we played with him. And there was more, we needed to adjust in more ways than one to what post Brady football looked like. And so that's where I think we've missed the mark over time. All right, let's go to Javon Baker.
I don't even know if it's fair to grade him at this point because I don't even think he's seen the field yet.
Yeah, I'm going to give him an F
because he hasn't been on the field or just incomplete.
I mean, I'm going to give him an F for whatever he did to not get on the field while healthy. But maybe an F. Maybe I'm just giving an F to the way he's been handled.
Sure.
The whole package around Javon, whether it's him or the people making decisions around him, he had a good enough preseason and just has the tools, and our receivers aren't playing well enough for us to not do more with him.
Well, yeah, and like we used a 4th round pick on him. Like you think you would at least try to get him involved somehow.
Exactly. It makes very little sense. Even if it's just as a scare for Polk, why not try to see what it would look like potentially replacing him with Baker? And yeah, there's no injury status right now by Javon Baker's name. I think he's just a healthy scratch.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I thought I saw he was out or something for whatever reason. Maybe it was
He may have been out for the Houston game, but he's healthy now. And what better way to try to figure out what you have in a receiver than, again, we have Drake May. Try some stuff. See what it – I want to see Javon Baker on the field. I want to see Tyquan Thornton on the field because I want to see what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You can't knock it until you try it, especially at the level we're playing right now. No receiver other than Demario Douglas has proven themselves to be completely indispensable.
Right.
Like at this point, Demario Douglas is a receiver that I'm like, I would not complain if he was on the field every single snap.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Bourne, just because of what we know Bourne can do. I mean, I think he's still settling in, but we know what Bourne can be.
Right.
And will be, I think, by the end of the season. I really think Drake May is gonna like him. But he liked Javon Baker in the preseason. They had a chemistry.
They did. I mean, yeah, he looked great in training camp. Like he did miss that one deep ball, but it looked like he was targeting him a lot. Like I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird why he's not out there.
And then I'm gonna end it there because I don't think DL, Milton, and Bell have seen enough action or any action to be able to actually make any kind of judgment on them.
I'm glad you ended it because I didn't know what to say to that.
That being said, the way some of these cornerbacks are playing, why not try DL?
Yeah. At least develop some backups. I don't know. Like get the young guys some experience.
Because like it's not like Jonathan Jones has been absolutely lighting it up, and I mean Marco Wilson has been decent at times. And also, fun tidbit for people that may have not made the connection. Yes, it is the same Marco Wilson that threw a shoe against LSU, single-handedly costing Florida a spot in the playoff. So he better not do that with us because we get penalized enough.
And we lose enough.
Yeah. It is kind of unfortunate looking at the injury report right now, just how many players are on injured reserve right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, going down the list at receiver, Jaquay Jackson, who had an interesting enough preseason that I would have liked to see him a little bit on the field. Caden Wallace, who had been starting to do stuff for us on the line. Jukes Okorafor, which I don't really care about that one. Strange is out. Andrews, both of the Andrews are on injured reserve, leaving us with Ben Brown and Lakeita Smith, who I found out like an hour ago was on this team, and who he was. Layden Robinson is questionable. Barmer's out. Bentley's out. Alex Austin's out. Peppers is out. Like this is a tough situation for a team that was already thin.
Yeah.
And the world is ending when Joe Cardona is questionable. That's the. Oh. We don't have any other long snappers, and Joe Cardona.
I think I've seen some more saying. I think we have one starter left who either hasn't been hurt, or one captain who hasn't either been hurt or benched. And I think it's Dietrich Wise.
That being said, we remain optimistic because we're playing a really bad team with a really promising quarterback in London. Hopefully it goes nothing like the Germany game last year, because that has to be one of the worst Patriots games I've ever watched.
Well,
Ryland misses 2 field goals. Mac Jones makes the worst pick I've ever seen. Before then, Bailey Zappi makes the second worst pick I've ever seen. The next 5.
Well, I mean, if at least Drake May looks good when he throws a pick, you know, like he just throws bombs. So
yeah,
it's going to be a different. If we lose, it'll be different. It'll be a different loss. It's not going to be.
Drake's not throwing off his back foot.
And if he does, who cares? Again, he still looks better than the other two doofuses we had last year.
I do not want to see him throw off his back foot. That is like basic quarterback 101. I don't know how Nick Saban didn't beat that into him.
I don't know how Jordan Love makes all those throws throwing off his back foot.
Mac Jones doesn't have the arm to throw off his back. I guess that's the other thing. Drake May has the arm to do some of these things.
Yeah.
Mac Jones puts himself in positions where only players with better arms than him can make those plays.
Yeah.
So I think, hopefully Drake May can get a better idea of what he has with his receivers, get some more chemistry going with some of these guys. Love the chemistry with Douglas. Hope to keep that going. Same with Booty. I really want to try. I really, really do want to try Baker and Thornton. I think it's a shame that we haven't been able to see much of them this season. But with the new quarterback, you got to see what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all we have for now. And we're over an hour because we're actually happy to talk about the Patriots this week.
There's good stuff to talk about. We're joyful.
It's fresh. It's like watching a brand new team.
It is. And they're all excited. They're all happy, and they all want to win.
Hopefully the defensive old comes back though.
Hopefully, because I would hate this carousel of just like, oh, now the defense is playing well, but now the offense isn't. Like we gotta have 1 week where they're both like in sync, like playing well.
Yeah. No, all three need to play well. Let's not have the offense play well, the defense play well, and then the special teams just.
I mean, good coaching too.
Yeah.
This could be
it's all happening. Drake May is going to throw for 450 yards, 6 touchdowns. Patriots will win 63-3.
It's like the Raiders last year.
Oh yeah.
One can hope, one can dream.
It's time to dream, and until Sunday happens, we won't know what the reality looks like.
Mm-hmm. Guess not. Sunday can't come quick enough.
I know. This is the first time I'm actually excited for a Patriots game in a long time. There have been a lot of I must watch this because I am Patriots fan.
I watch because I'm a fan. Now it's like I'm actually excited. Yeah. I get that.
It's gonna be fun. 9:30 Eastern. Just gonna have my morning coffee and enjoy. I'm gonna enjoy it this time. I'm gonna enjoy some Patriots football.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna be back in a week discussing our next game against. I believe it's the
Jets.
Oh yes, the Jets. In an important stretch. This is an important stretch of 4 winnable games. This is where we will see if there's any chance for the Patriots to actually make it to late January.
Mm-hmm.
And until then, that's us. Let us know if you have any more suggestions for May puns. I think we've already hit quite a few good ones, but there's so many more that can be had. So let's see some more. What segments you want to hear about? We are nothing if not adaptable, unlike certain people in the Patriots organization. So we're here to listen. Till next week, Patriots Nation.
See ya.